All right, this Solana commercial really ticked some people off, and it was kind of a big, honestly, it was kind of a big failure for Solana. So why don't we just dive into the commercial, and then we can see what we think about it from there.
What's going on?
Well, lately, I've been having thoughts again.
What thoughts?
About innovation. You know, multi-planetary travel, nuclear energy, crypto, AI. You know, things that push the limits of human potential.
What you're experiencing is called rational thinking syndrome. Why don't we take this energy and channel it into something more productive? Like coming up with a new gender.
But that's not gonna stop me thinking about innovating and doing something.
Innovating, doing, these are action words, verbs. Why don't we focus on pronouns?
That's not gonna help.
I sense some cynicism. Have you been betrayed in the past?
You know, I used
This goes on, by the way.
to think the media was my friend. Can I even trust them anymore?
Of course.
Of course they'd say that. That's a biased take. I got canceled for saying 2 + 2 is 4.
Have you ever considered that math is a spectrum?
What?
America, numbers are non-binary. We've been conditioned to believe that 2 + 2 is 4. It's a societal construct.
It's literally math.
Or is it a dominant narrative? Have you been practicing state-prescribed regulation?
It basically goes on. At the end, he kind of like,
The beacon of innovation. I want to invent technologies, not genders.
Lovely. So glad you were able to get some of that negative emotion out.
yeah, it just goes on like that. So we know Algorand created a pretty subversive commercial, and it was comparing Algorand's tech to other blockchain's tech. They all go to the grocery store, and the Algorand tech makes sense. The reason it worked is because what does this have to do with Solana? What does it have to do with Solana? Also, like, you know, the narrative has shifted away from woke toward based. So they seem like a bag in the wind, because in 2020 they were tweeting they were posting all the stuff that she's talking about right now, and now they saw the wind shift, and so they're like a typical politician, but they're not politicians. Like a typical politician, they're changing their views to fit the common narrative right now. So yeah, a lot of people were not impressed by this. Someone said feels fake. Well, I mean, it's a commercial, but I guess I know what he means, kind of. Governor had said they should have just put out an ad that was just 2 minutes of grunting. It'd be an accurate description of how Solana works, I said, LOL. So some people said cringe. It's a grift, poorly executed one. It said at 2:38, only the Solana faithful are watching the whole thing through. Honestly, I almost turned it off because I was so bored when I watched it. And I said, oh yeah, because I'm going to make content on it, but I probably should watch the whole thing. It was actually kind of a boring commercial. And this would have been, if they released this in 2017, I would have thought it was more brave. But to release it now, that's just the common, the culture has shifted, and now you're just blowing with the wind. You're not trying anything subversive or new. Now, it did get us talking about Solana. So in a way, yeah, maybe it had its impact, but yeah, I'm just not really impressed by this. I'd be more impressed if, like I said, if they had come out with this in 2017 when it was going against the cultural grain, I would have at least said it there was some bravery attached to it. Doing this now, it's like, yeah, whatever. Also, this has nothing to do with Solana crypto. I mean, I know they kind of try to tie it to crypto, but I think Algorand's commercial was far more successful because it really challenged something that we're all thinking at the time, and we're just not seeing it reflected in the culture. Like, we all know Algorand works better. Like, all the things that make other chains difficult to use are things that Algorand has solved. And I'm not saying it's the only good chain. Certainly, I cover other ones like HBAR. I think HBAR is great. I really do. But the ones they were comparing, like Ethereum, people were, when I first started covering Algorand, Ethereum was still big, and people would talk about Ethereum, and no one would talk about the fact that the gas fees make it almost impossible to use. And I just could never understand that. It would flummox me. And now, now here was someone saying exactly what I've been saying all along. And I think people are starting to get that now, but they didn't back then, and it's super weird. So yeah, big fail for Solana. They deleted it after getting all kinds of pushback, which is kind of funny. Like, of course you're going to get pushback, but the thing about Algorand, they got a lot of flack too, and they kept it up. They were like, hey, we're standing by a commercial, and they were right. They were right to do so, I think. So